Good morning and welcome to today's meeting of the ESPO Management Committee. I'd like to start by saying that Peterborough is the authority due to hold chairmanship for the municipal year ending June 2025. Councillor Amjad Iqbal has been nominated to be chairman. Please can I have a nominator and a seconder, please? Do you want to speak?
It's the button. Oh, that's better. Councillor Christian Hogg from Peterborough City Council. I want to nominate, please.
Right, thank you, Councillor Hogg. Can I have a seconder, please?
I'm happy to second that, Chairman.
Oh, thank you, Councillor Higgs. Over to you then, Councillor Iqbal.
Thank you. Welcome to the ESPO Management Committee. This meeting is being broadcast live on YouTube and recorded, as it will also be available for viewing after the meeting. I'm sure all members of the committee are aware that we are currently in a pre-election period of heightened sensitivity running up to the general election, and will take particular care in any debate this morning. We have received apologies from Councillor Peter Butlin, Warwickshire, Councillor Baxter Payne, Warwickshire, Councillor Ferguson, Cambridgeshire. The following members are joining us online: Councillor Neil Scheller, Cambridge, and Councillor Higgs, Lincolnshire. I need to let you know that we are not expecting a fire alarm today, so if one does sound, please use the stairs to leave the building and convene on the field opposite the visitors' car park. Please follow the Democratic Services officers. As is the convention, I would like to take the opportunity on behalf of ESPO's Management Committee and ESPO's senior officers to reflect on just some of the achievements of Mrs. Wright in her capacity of chairman of the ESPO's Management Committee 2023-24. She has overseen achieving a trading surplus of 8.3 million, which is 2.2 million ahead of budget and 2.4 million ahead of last year. This is a record surplus of ESPO. ESPO's procurement services creating a rebate income of 12.2 million and a one-year growth of circa of 1.7 million. ESPO's catalogue business recording sales of 75.9 million, which is 1.2 million growth from the previous year. The successful construction of a 26,000 square feet warehouse extension to the Grove Park due to open at the end of the summer. Progression of the business development agenda, including the growth of My School Fund partnership with Sainsbury's, international trading expansion, and significant growth into Scotland via Scotland Excel framework. Organisational investments such as fitting safety cameras to the delivery fleet, enhancements to ESPO's website, and improvements to cyber security. Preparatory work to ensure the readiness of the new Procurement Act 2023 go live in October. A robust governance framework for health and safety, legal compliance, flexible working, and employee well-being. Councillor Sue Rollins from Lincolnshire has been nominated as a Vice Chairman for the municipal year ending June 2025. I'm happy to move this recommendation. Can I have a seconder?
Thing working. I'm happy to second that, Chairman.
Thank you. That's Councillor Powell. Thank you very much. I confirm Councillor Rowland as a Vice Chair. Thank you. I move that minutes of the meeting held on 20th March 2024 be approved. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Rawlings, are you happy to second? Yeah. Thank you. There are no urgent items. Are there any declarations? No, I can't see any. There are no items referred by the Finance and Audit Committee. The issues considered by the subcommittee are covered in item 13, which appear elsewhere on the agenda. Item 8 is Director's Progress Update, which is on page 19 to 18 of your agenda. Christian Smith, Director of ESPO, will introduce his progress update since the previous meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So, as ever, the purpose of the report is to inform Management Committee of the actions and progress since the last update. The first section is very much about financial performance. You'll be used to a bigger financial performance section, but this time we've got a separate finance paper, so it's literally 1 month to April 2024. There's not a lot to draw out in 1 month, as you'd imagine, but good news is after a month, the surplus of 0.6 million has been made, which is 0.2 better than budget and in line with the last year. The main thing we've done is launch our catalogue in April, and we see very promising signs in the first trading month, and we look forward to our summer trading peak. In terms of rebate, that started positively, and we've collected 1.4 million, and that is marginally behind for April, but we see that small timing differences. Costs continue to be controlled tightly. So for our full year this year, members will be aware that we are targeting a budget of 7.1 million. The trading environment does remain competitive though, and we do see a number of opportunities but risks also for the year ahead, and therefore at this stage we continue to advise at 7.1 million. In terms of the second section of the report, which is operational progress, and what we do here, members will be familiar, is we list out a number of metrics that we use every quarter, and that allows members to kind of challenge and critique, be those numbers good, bad or indifferent. We make sure that they're consistently reported. I'm pleased to say on this quarter, I'm very impressed by operational progress, and you can see, I'll just canter through a few things, but you can see the scale of what we've done, picking and dispatching 124,000 order lines, and you can see that our couriers have made over 20,000 deliveries. Our pick rate was in line with target at 32 lines per hour. Our quality assurance number was particularly impressive this period at 0%, and you can see our average order value, which is really important to us as a business in terms of the quality of the orders we're fulfilling, it is higher than budget. In terms of our customer services team, they handled 3,670 calls. The average wait time across the teams was 16 seconds, which is within 96% of the time, which is, my apologies, was 16 seconds with 96% of the time within 30 seconds. So a very productive customer services team. And as you'd imagine, that's filtered through to our FIFO rating. And you can see for our FIFO rating, we received 49 ratings and a rating of 96%, which if people are familiar with FIFO, that's a very, very high rating indeed. In terms of facilities management, the section there talks about a lot of statutory inspections that we concluded over the period. As you'd imagine, the main thing we've been focused on is supporting our warehouse extension project, and there's work listed here in terms of looking at racking suppliers and forklift truck suppliers in readiness for the new site opening. In terms of health and safety, which I know members are keenly interested in, there were no reported injuries in March. We have had a health and safety audit performed by Leicestershire County Council in February, and it was pleasing to note there were no major non-conformities. There were some, as you'd expect, minor conformities, and we are following up those observations through our health and safety manager. Likewise with health and safety, I mentioned at the last committee that we were introducing a scheme to do more surveillance for our night shift workers in terms of their well-being through working night shifts, and with that work's already started and working through an occupational health provider to do that work. In terms of other key things to talk to in operations, we held a meeting with our joint consultative committee in March, and the installation of cameras, which you referenced earlier, was part of that conversation, as was proximity sensors on large good vehicles. In terms of our IT team, you'll be familiar with me informing you that they get 100% satisfaction rating from internal customers. That's incredibly important to me because as we work in a hybrid way, you really rely on your IT team to get you out of trouble when your laptop doesn't work or, all the things that we all endure. So that 100% satisfaction rating means we can be as productive as possible, supported by our IT team. Likewise, we've developed a training partner, USecure, for staff training awareness for cyber, and you can see that our completion rates move from nearly 96% to just over 97% of the organisation. One interesting project in IT to make you aware of is the move from our ERP system from a server-based to a cloud-based hosting. That's been business case through the chief officer group, through your chief officers in your organisations, and has been unanimously supported. We don't see it as a fundamental piece of work in terms of risk, but we do see it as needing to move us on into the cloud, which I'm sure most authorities probably use themselves. And so that work is planned to take place shortly. You also have a couple of pictures of our warehouse extension. So the one on the outside is not particularly enlightening, but you can see that the outside structure has been done, and you can see inside the sort of space we're creating as a result of it. So it's progressed well with all that sort of mega structure done. The floor slab has been laid, sprinkler pipes extended, and the next focus for us is to do the fit out internally. And it's hoped that members can attend a launch event to coincide with the November Management Committee, where we have an opportunity to celebrate that project and also show members around if they're interested to come and see. Final section of the report is about staffing. You have our sickness stats reported. You can see a slight deterioration in sickness performance, moving from 7.79 days April 23 to 8.07 days in April 24. Just as a quick reminder, the corporate target we work to is 7.5 days, and that is quite a stretched target across both the county council and probably in your own organisation. So although we're slightly above target, we fare well as a comparator to other directorates of Leicestershire County Council. And what's important to me is that we monitor it, we understand where the sickness is, and we take the appropriate action. I'd also say that as a relatively small organisation, you only need to have a couple of people who sadly have some sort of long-term issue, then obviously that can have quite an impact on the figures. Due to the slight increase in musculoskeletal absences, we've introduced additional manual handling training, but it also needs to be noted that a number of issues can be sustained outside of work, so they're not, lifting issues necessarily always inside of work. Also, I'd like to talk to members a little bit today about the staff survey results. We've completed the third staff survey since 2019, and the questions have been deliberately consistent. Again, I like to show that consistency so we can make meaningful comparisons and the results. We received 211 responses, which represents 60% of employees, so a fairly good response rate for these things if people are familiar. And it has been our highest response rate of the 3 surveys. Compared to the 2021 results, there's been a clear improvement in responses, which is really pleasing to report. You have the greatest improvements listed, which are around giving good feedback, feeling change is well managed and communicated, and people feeling valued. The most positive result was over 90% of respondents were in agreement ESPO is a good employer, and I think that's something we should all be incredibly proud of. But whilst it was overwhelmingly positive, there are things always in staff surveys to pick up, and our approach to do that is to work through our head of service group and make sure if there's anything locally we can do to do even better, then we can take those action plans forward. ESPO has recruited a new HR business partner on the 7th of May, and they will be a participant in my leadership team, and I've invited them to attend the next committee to present to members as a kind of way of introduction to the committee and obviously on a relevant topic as well. So finally, Chair, it's recommended that the committee note the update provided against the actions and progress made since the last report in March 24. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your report. Does anyone want to make any comments or questions? Councillor Hogg.
Just to do with the extension and more importantly about your pick rate. With the extension coming online, do you expect your pick rates to diminish at all, or are you looking to maintain those? And more importantly, are you happy with that target of 32?
So perhaps if I start off and I'll invite David, who's the AD for operations. I mean, the hit rate at 32 has been kind of established out of COVID. I remember when it used to be 36. So that was the highest the target's been. It did drop down through COVID for lots of reasons about separating people, and it's kind of stayed there. I don't envisage that the pick rate will drop, because that would obviously drop our productivity and that would have to form part of the business case, and hasn't, but I'll let you kind of come in on that.
Yeah, I think you've covered substantially that. I think we will see some improvements in productivity by relaying stock into the extension, which will make a slightly more efficient walk sequence for us within the main warehouse. So I'd be setting slightly higher targets for ourselves. It's also worth mentioning that the profile of our work has changed quite a lot. So we're getting fewer lines, but larger pack sizes. They take a little bit more effort to pack and put out. So some of it's related to customer demand. We promote packs where we can, and that actually creates a slightly more effort in terms of the pick, which has an effect on the pick rate. I think in the long term, the warehouse extension will also allow us to introduce limited automation, so conveying and so on, which will again reduce the walk sequence within the main warehouse. So I think progressively we'll see an improvement in that pick rate over time.
Any further questions or comments? No? In that case, I move that the update provided by the director be noted. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Rawlins, you happy to second? Yep, thank you. Right, future meetings, dates for the Management Committee and the ESPO Finance and Audit Committee in 2025 are detailed on the agenda. I move that these dates are accepted. Yeah, can I have a seconder, please? Yeah, thank you. Councillor Mrs. Wright, yeah, thank you. The next meeting of the ESPO Management Committee is scheduled to take place on 18th of September 2024 at 10:30 a.m. at the County Hall, Linfield. As I said previously, there are no urgent items. I move that in accordance with the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the meeting for the remaining items of business on the grounds that they involve the likely disclosure of exempt information. Can I have a seconder for that, please? Councillor Rowland, thank you. Yeah, we need to wait, thank you.